This event is mostly because we just want to get the current situation on the ground out to some people, and also we want to highlight the situation for humanitarian workers. This is part of the World Humanitarian Day, which was created by the UN to honor those who have died in the line of service performing humanitarian missions overseas, and for those imprisoned in the camps in Sri Lanka, and also those currently working in the camps. So to start off with, I'll describe, TRO was the first organization in Sri Lanka to lose some of its members. 7 members in end of January 2006 were abducted, tortured and executed by paramilitaries affiliated with the government of Sri Lanka. They were never found, and afterwards it's been learned that they were killed, confirmed. And then this was about 7 months prior to the Action Contre la Femme 17, which made the international news. This occurred before that. At the time, there was no response from the international community, the humanitarian community in Sri Lanka. There were a few news reports, but because of that, this feeling of impunity prevailed, and there were more than 60 humanitarian workers, most of which were Tamil. A few were Muslim and a few were Sinhalese. And this was another TRO person who was killed by a deep penetration unit mine blast. And also, the person with the microphone in the picture there is, we think, no longer living. He was killed in the safe zone. So deaths of humanitarian workers in Sri Lanka, there's 105 since 2005 have been killed. And 36 of these were in the safe zone over the last 6 months, from, December to May. So 19 of those people were TRO workers. According to the government agents in Kanochi and Mullaitivu districts, prior to January 2009, there were 330,000 persons registered as being civilians in the area. We know that there are about 286,000 odd registered in the camps, and about 10,000 in the LTT. So there's about 20,000 people, 44,000 people unaccounted for of the rights associated with being an IDP. They're locked up behind barbed wire. They don't have any freedom of movement. And actually, Amnesty International and other human rights organizations have called the Manic Farm and the other camps actual prison camps, because when people aren't allowed freedom of movement, they are prisoners in a sense. You can see this is a result of it rained for a day or so, and toilets overflew. And the monsoon season is just coming, so these will become much worse. As I said, there's minimum standards for the humanitarian emergency crisis that are called the SPHERE standards. And under these, they have certain amounts of toilets, certain amounts of space per IDP. These camps violate all of those standards. When there was at a minimum 20,000, but probably much more, killed because of bombing and shelling by the government. So the UN figures that they've put out in their CHAP, which is a Common Humanitarian Action Plan, 15% of the detainees are underweight, and 35% exhibited wasting, which is low weight for height, and then 30% are stunted. The last two are as a result of long-term malnutrition and lack of proper nutrition, so that they're at times also with prices that are high above market rates. So that, this whole health, as you can understand with the conditions you've seen there, with the water diseases, waterborne disease, and the just general overcrowding. There's about 10,000 cases of diarrhea a month. Hepatitis is widespread. Dysentery, and then chickenpox. There were chickenpox outbreaks at the very beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the local member of Parliament. I'm here because Dr. Morphy is a good friend of mine, White Pigeon. Can I thank them for organising and hosting this event? And it breaks my heart that there are literally 280,000 people in these camps. Many of you have families in the camps and can't fill a hall. And that's my concern. My concern is as time goes on, people forget. And the challenge we have, whether you're a politician, Councillor Osborne's here as well, a local councillor or NGO, is to keep it in the mind of ordinary people, not just the Tamil diaspora. This affects everybody. Many of us who work with amputees in landmines know the work that goes on. The scenario was difficult. I mean, just you know, the racketeering. I mean, the scenario what's happening was the official government of Sri Lanka. There are allegations using some of the monies coming from overseas as a way of propaganda to say to people who have lost their homes, here's the money, don't forget who gave it to you. And it's a real concern. One of the concerns the government of Sri Lanka has, I've discussed with Dr. Murthy, is their concerns about welfare coming from overseas and it be used for propaganda purposes and stuff that's worth. And the sponsor family is a good way, I see, of going around that, because it's going straight to the hand of the family, from family to family. And I think the solution is going to be people to people, governments to government, NGOs to NGOs. You know, and I think one of the things that concerned me was the numbers of aid workers who have died. And that's, I think, one way of us making a coalition. And we should get the other DEC charities involved, whether it's, you know, the big ones, Christian Aid, and the other ones, CAFOD, the religious ones, CAFOD, Islamic Relief, involved, because that's the big one. I think aid workers get killed. It's just, whether your politics, whatever point of view you have on the civil war, that's unacceptable.
Is that in the wake of the conflict and in the wake of the crisis here in the camps, the key thing, I think, for all the community in a place like Tooting is to have something that they can concretely focus on, which is why I think the sponsorship scheme is a very good idea, and why I think, you know, a simple list of the key things that we're arguing for, which actually the British government by and large is supporting, which is to get people out of the camps and back home, to seek a political solution to the national question in Sri Lanka, and to call the government to account. And those three things, I think, crystallise what it is we're trying to achieve. And I think that's important too. And we'll, you know, over the coming months, I think we can use that as a focus to bring people into meetings like this up and down Tooting, and to push issues like this forward.